You've probably heard the term AI agents being thrown around everywhere, right? But trying to get a straight answer on what they actually are can be a pain. You either get a super technical lecture or something so simple it's basically useless. So what are they really? And what makes them so different from something like ChatGPT? Well, let's climb the ladder of automation together, step by step, and figure it out.
This quote really just nails the massive shift we're all seeing. Think about it. AI is going from a passive tool that just answers you to a proactive partner that acts for you. And that simple distinction, that's the key to this whole thing.
Okay, before we can get to agents, we got to start on the ground floor. And this is the tech most of us already know and use, large language models, or LLMs, like ChatGPT or Google Gemini.
This comparison lays out the big divide perfectly. On one side, you've got your standard LLM. Think of it like a brilliant librarian who's only read books published up to last year. It's totally passive and can only react to your questions based on that fixed knowledge. But on the other side, you have an agent. And this is more like a proactive research assistant who can actually leave the library, use a phone, browse the internet, and actively work to complete a goal for you. Big difference.
So let's make this real with a super simple example. Imagine you open up ChatGPT and you ask it, "When is my next coffee chat?" What do you think is going to happen?
Well, it fails, of course. And this shows us those two key limitations in action. First, its knowledge is limited. It has absolutely no idea what's on your personal calendar. And second, it's passive. It has no ability to go and look for that information. You see, this is the wall you hit with a standard LLM, and it's the exact problem that the next step on our ladder is designed to solve.
So how do we give an AI access to the outside world? Well, we take the first step up the ladder to something called an AI workflow. This is where we, the humans, start building the bridges for it.
Now, the key trait of a workflow is really simple. A human is the architect. We design a very specific, predefined path for the AI to follow. The AI does all the heavy lifting, sure, but we are still the ones calling all the shots.
Here's a perfect real-world example from a platform like Make.com. A human sets up this whole chain of events, pull from Google Sheets, then summarize with Perplexity AI, then draft with Claude AI. The AI executes each step perfectly, but here's the catch. It can only follow that exact path. If the results aren't what you want, you, the human, have to go back in and manually tweak the instructions.
Now, you've probably heard the term RAG thrown around a lot, Retrieval Augmented Generation. It sounds super complicated, but it's really not. RAG is just a specific type of AI workflow, where the path you set up includes fetching external information, like looking up your calendar or a weather API, before it generates an answer. That's all it is. And now we've arrived at the top of our ladder. This is where things get really, really interesting. We're moving from a human-led workflow to a truly autonomous AI agent.
And right here, this is the massive change. The one thing that turns a rigid workflow into a flexible agent is this. You take the human out of the driver's seat, and you let the AI itself become the decision maker.
So how does an agent decide what to do? Well, the most common way is a framework called React. And look, it's another piece of jargon that's actually pretty simple. The agent first has to reason, think about the goal and plan the steps. Then it has to act, use its available tools to actually carry out that plan. Reason and act.
So instead of a straight line, an agent operates in a loop. It starts by reasoning about the best way to hit your goal. Then it acts, using its tools to execute that plan. But here's the crucial part. It then observes the result. It literally critiques its own work. If the outcome isn't good enough, it doesn't just stop. It iterates. It learns from the mistake and tries a whole new approach, all by itself, until the job is done.
Okay, so we know what an agent is now, but what can they actually do? Let's look at some powerful real-world applications that show why this technology is such a massive deal. This is where the rubber really meets the road. I mean, we're talking about agents that can onboard new hires in HR, cutting manual time by a whopping 70%. Or agents that qualify sales leads and update your CRM automatically, saving reps hours every single week. In customer support, they can handle the majority of those initial queries, 24/7. This isn't sci-fi. This is stuff that's happening right now. Now, this new level of autonomy is incredibly powerful for sure, but it also opens up a whole new set of complex and challenging questions that, frankly, we have to confront. Just think about it. When a simple tool makes a mistake, we blame the user, right? But when an autonomous agent gets something wrong, who's to blame them? Is it the user who gave the prompt? Is it the company that built the agent? This is where things get really complicated really fast.
And this is not just some hypothetical question. It actually happened. An Air Canada agent gave a customer the wrong information about bereavement fares, and when the case went to court, get this, the airline actually argued that it wasn't responsible for its own agent's mistake. The court, not surprisingly, rejected that argument completely. But it just shows you the kind of legal chaos we're just beginning to navigate.
The Air Canada case puts a spotlight on liability, but that's just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. We also have to worry about deception, agents pretending to be human, and even manipulation, where an agent might use its knowledge of you to exploit your emotional vulnerabilities to get you to do something.
So, let's just quickly recap our journey up the ladder. We started on the ground floor with a simple LLM that just gives you an output. Then we stepped up to AI workflows, where a human defines the path for the LLM to follow. And we ended at the very top with the AI agent, where the LLM itself becomes the decision maker.
And that leaves us with the big, critical question. This technology has incredible potential, but as these agents become more and more integrated into our lives, moving from our screens into the real world, the challenge isn't just about what they can do, but about how we ensure what they do is safe, reliable, and truly aligned with our best interests.